In this lesson, we'll learn how to scan a passage and quickly find the exact information you need. By the end of these 20 minutes, you'll understand how scanning works, when to use it, and how to apply it to real test questions. This skill will help you read faster, stay focused, and answer questions with much greater accuracy. On this slide, we'll learn the core technique behind scanning for specific information. Scanning is a fast reading skill that helps you locate exact details without reading every word. Instead of focusing on full sentences, you train your eyes to move quickly down the page, searching for key features such as numbers, names, dates, or repeated vocabulary. The first step is to look at the question and identify exactly what information you need. Are you searching for a person, a place, a measurement, a reason or explanation? Once you know what you're looking for, you can mentally highlight the keywords before you start scanning the text. The second step is to move your eyes rapidly across the passage. You do not read every sentence. You simply glide down the page and stop only when you see something that matches the keywords you identified earlier. Finally, when you spot the relevant words or phrases, slow down and read that small part carefully to confirm the answer. By practicing these steps, identify, scan, and confirm, you will dramatically increase your reading speed and accuracy, especially in exams like SAT, TOEFL, and IELTS. And today, you'll master all of this in just 20 minutes. Before we start practicing, let's take a clear look at what scanning actually is and what it is not. Scanning is a fast reading technique that helps you locate a specific piece of information in a passage without reading every word. Instead of trying to understand the entire paragraph, you focus your eyes on key visual clues, such as names, numbers, dates, or repeated keywords. Think of it as using your eyes the same way you would use the search bar on a website. You are not reading for meaning. You are searching for a target. This technique is extremely helpful on tests like the SAT, TOEFL, IELTS, or any school exam where time is limited. When you scan effectively, you save energy for the questions that require real comprehension. In the next slide, we will walk through a concrete example so you can see exactly how scanning works in real passages. By understanding the logic behind it, you'll be able to apply this technique confidently in any reading situation. Now let's walk through a concrete example of scanning in action. On the screen, you see a short passage about a meeting. When you scan, you do not read the whole passage slowly. You do not analyze every detail. Instead, you have a clear target, in this case, the time 7:30. So imagine you're facing this passage on a test. Your eyes simply move quickly down the lines searching for anything that looks like a time. You may notice numbers, colons, or the general visual shape of time expressions. As soon as your eyes land on 7:30, highlighted here in yellow, you found exactly what you need. You can ignore everything else. The rest of the passage about Jonathan arriving late or sitting quietly is irrelevant to this task. The scanning step is simple. Find the time, 7:30. And the answer is, exactly, 7:30. This example shows how scanning saves time and mental energy. You gather precisely the information you need without getting lost in unnecessary details. Now let's look at the essential strategies that make scanning fast, accurate, and highly effective. The first strategy is to identify exactly what the question is asking for. Before you look at the passage, decide whether you're searching for a name, a number, a date, an opinion, or a specific phrase. This sharpens your focus and prevents you from reading unnecessary sentences. Next, move your eyes directly toward keywords. These might be names, numbers, time expressions, capital letters, or repeated vocabulary. Scanning is not about understanding every sentence. It's about letting your eyes jump quickly through the text until something familiar appears. The third strategy is speed. Do not read line by line. Instead, sweep your eyes down the page, looking for the shape, length, or visual features of the target information. Then, stop only when the detail you need shows up. At that moment, slow down, read that small section carefully, and confirm the correct answer. Finally, use formatting clues, such as bold or italic words, bullet points, dates, times, or any visually distinctive elements. These features act like signs pointing you toward the answer, saving you valuable time on the SAT. By using these strategies together, you'll be able to scan quickly and confidently in any reading task. Now let's try a quick practice example together. You'll see a short passage about a girl named Maria and her morning routine. Your task is simple. Scan the text and find the departure time as quickly as possible. As you listen, remember the scanning strategies we've discussed. Don't read every sentence carefully. Instead, move your eyes quickly through the passage, looking only for time-related information. In the passage, there are several times mentioned: 5:15 a.m., 5:30, and finally 6:45 when she leaves the house. Because we are scanning for the specific detail, what time does she leave the house? We stop the moment we notice the key phrase. The correct answer appears clearly at the end of the passage: she leaves the house at 6:45. This is the power of scanning: fast, focused, and accurate. Before we move on, let's take a moment to highlight the most common mistakes students make when trying to scan for information. The first mistake is reading the full passage from beginning to end. Scanning is not careful reading, it's a targeted search. Another common issue is ignoring keywords. Numbers, names, and capital letters are scanning landmarks that help you jump straight to the answer. Some students also forget to check what the question is actually asking. If you don't know your target, you won't know what to look for. Another mistake is stopping at every sentence. Your eyes should keep moving until the exact information appears. Students also sometimes confuse scanning with skimming. Skimming is reading for general ideas. Scanning is searching for a specific detail. Finally, many students overthink the passage instead of simply searching visually. Avoiding these mistakes will make your scanning faster, more accurate, and far less stressful. Now let's talk about one of the most important parts of scanning: staying focused. Scanning may seem simple, but losing concentration is the #1 reason students miss easy points on reading tests. When your mind wanders, even for a few seconds, you start reading full sentences again, your eyes slow down, and you forget what specific detail you were searching for. To stay focused, always remind yourself of the target. Ask, what exactly am I looking for? Is it a name, a date, a number, or a keyword? Keeping that detail in your mind prevents distraction and keeps your eyes moving with purpose. Another helpful strategy is to avoid subvocalizing, that little habit of reading words in your head. Scanning is a visual task, not a reading task, so keep your eyes moving smoothly across the text. Finally, set a clear mental goal. Find the information quickly, without overthinking. When you stay focused and keep the target in mind, scanning becomes much faster, much easier, and far more accurate. Now let's take a closer look at the types of SAT reading questions where scanning is especially powerful. These questions don't ask you to interpret the whole passage. Instead, they require you to locate one specific piece of information quickly and accurately. First, detail-based questions often begin with phrases like, according to the passage, or, what does the author mention about? For these, scanning allows you to jump straight to the exact line that contains the detail. You'll also see questions asking for a date, a number, a location, or a specific name. These are perfect scanning targets because numbers, capital letters, and place names visually stand out on the page. Vocabulary and context questions also benefit from scanning. Rather than reading the entire paragraph, you can go straight to the sentence where the word appears and examine its immediate context. Some questions ask you to find the supporting evidence lines for your answer. Here too, scanning helps you move quickly across line numbers to find the exact reference. Finally, when the SAT includes tables, charts, or small data visuals, scanning helps you locate the relevant value without reading every label. Mastering scanning for these question types will save time and dramatically improve your accuracy on the reading section. Before we begin the practice section, here are 3 simple rules to make your scanning training effective. First, stay fully focused. Scanning is a fast, targeted skill, and you'll improve much more quickly if you keep your attention on the task. During the practice, turn off distractions and give the exercise your complete focus. Second, remember not to read the whole passage. Your goal is not to understand the story or analyze the meaning. Your goal is to locate a specific piece of information as quickly as possible. Keep your eyes moving and avoid getting stuck on sentences that don't matter. Finally, timing is essential. You'll have 60 seconds of silent practice, just like a real test environment. This trains you to think quickly, stay calm, and find the answer under time pressure. By following these rules, you'll build real scanning skill, the kind that helps you save time and improve accuracy on the SAT and any English reading task. Let's start with a beginner-level scanning exercise. Your goal is simple: find the meeting time in the passage. You will have 60 seconds of silent practice. Scan quickly, focus on numbers and times. Your 1-minute practice starts now. Now it's time for your beginner level practice. In this exercise, you'll scan a short passage to find one specific piece of information, the meeting time. Remember, your goal is not to read every sentence carefully. Instead, keep your eyes moving and look only for the key detail, in this case, a time. You will see a short story about Maria's evening routine. Some sentences talk about when she gets home, some describe her homework, and others explain what she does later in the day. But only one part of the passage contains the exact meeting time you need. As you scan, focus your attention on numbers, capital letters, and time expressions like 4:10 p.m. or 7:45 p.m. These stand out visually and help your eyes move quickly to the right place. Take your time, stay relaxed, and try to locate the meeting time within about 1 minute. After that, we'll check the answer together and look at how scanning helped you find it. Now let's move to the intermediate practice. Read the short email carefully, but remember, your goal is only to find who the sender is. You'll have 60 seconds of silent time. Focus on names and keywords, and try to locate the answer as quickly as you can. Let's review the answer to this intermediate practice question. The task asked you to identify who sent the email to Jamal. In the passage, we are told that Jamal received an email about a job interview, and that the sender named Mr. Smith provided details about the time and location of the interview. This line is key. When a passage directly states that the sender is Mr. Smith, we do not need to infer or guess. This is explicit information. Your job in scanning questions is to quickly locate names, dates, times, or direct statements that match what the question is asking for. Here, identifying the email sender only requires finding the phrase that mentions who provided the information. Since the passage clearly says that Mr. Smith sent the email, he is the correct answer. This kind of question is common on SAT-style reading tasks. Simple, factual, and based on locating precise details. Great work. Let's continue sharpening your scanning accuracy. Here is your advanced practice question. In this passage, pay close attention to the type of learning environment being described. Focus on what Lena appreciates most about her group sessions. Your task is to scan for the specific feature she values in the environment. Let's review the answer for this advanced scanning practice question. The passage explains that Lena values a very specific type of environment. As we scan through the text, we quickly notice a key phrase: people who share ideas openly and are accepting of differing views. This phrase tells us exactly what kind of atmosphere Lena prefers. Instead of reading every line slowly, scanning helps us jump directly to the part that contains the important detail. In this case, the word accepting and the expression differing views stand out. These keywords signal that the passage is describing a place where people listen respectfully, welcome diverse opinions, and encourage open conversation. So, the answer, accepting of differing views, captures the core idea of what Lena is looking for. It reflects her desire for an environment where ideas are exchanged freely, without judgment or hostility. This question is a great example of how advanced scanning works. You focus on the exact detail asked in the question, search visually for the critical keywords, and stop as soon as you find the sentence that contains the essential information. As you continue practicing at this level, you'll become faster and more confident in locating specific ideas in longer, more complex passages. Great work today. You've just completed a full 20-minute focused training session on one of the most important reading skills for the SAT and for real-world English use, scanning for specific information. Throughout today's lesson, you learned how scanning allows you to move through a text quickly, without getting stuck on unnecessary details. You practiced identifying keywords, numbers, names, and repeated ideas, the kinds of clues that guide your eyes straight to the answer. You also reviewed the most common mistakes students make, and how to avoid slowing yourself down by overthinking, reading every sentence carefully, or losing track of what the question is actually asking. By focusing your attention and training your eyes to move with purpose, you're already building habits that will save you valuable time on every reading task. Then, through the beginner, intermediate, and advanced practice examples, you experienced how scanning works with real passages, from short and simple texts to longer and more complex ones. Each time, you identified the key idea, located the important phrase, and confirmed the answer through targeted reading, not slow reading. This skill becomes stronger the more you use it. With just a few minutes of practice each day, you'll notice yourself finding answers faster, reading more confidently, and feeling far less stressed during SAT questions, school assignments, and everyday English tasks. And remember, scanning isn't just a test-taking strategy. It is a lifelong reading skill that helps you handle emails, articles, instructions, and any information-heavy text much more efficiently. The more familiar you become with this technique, the easier it will be to understand and organize information in your daily life. Thank you for joining today's session. Keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep building the reading skills that will help you succeed in school and beyond. I'll see you in the next lesson. And remember, you can access more practice anytime at www.learningassistant.jp.